So as I said, I'm Serena Starcher, Superintendent of Raleigh County Schools. And I was playing with this a minute ago, so let me get back to the start. So as many or all of you know, Raleigh County Schools is running an excess levy on the May primary ballot. So I'm here today to speak with you about that excess levy. I will say that today I will only present facts. I cannot in any way encourage you to vote for or vote against the excess levy. So I'll be presenting facts, and then if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. So Raleigh County Schools has had an excess levy since 1941. The first two proposals, if you will, to the voters, they failed. The first one was in 1939, and then the second was in June of 41. But in August of 41, In August of 41, you will see that the excess levy passed for the first time at 73.74%, and it has passed ever since. So Raleigh County Schools has had an excess levy in place since 1941, a little more than 80 years ago. You will see on the slides that initially the excess levies were for 3-year cycles, but in 1963, there at the bottom, you'll see that it switched to, I keep hitting the wrong way. It switched to a 5-year cycle. So our last levy passed in 2019. That's what we're currently operating off of, and it expires in June of this year. So June 30th, 2024, our excess levy ends. So the levy that is before the voters will either, if it passes, it will start July 1st, and the school system will continue much like it is operating now in terms of financially or fiscally. We would continue to operate relatively the same. Should it fail in May, then approximately $22.5 million would be taken from the school system starting July 1st of this year. I know these slides are probably too small, so I won't spend much time on it, but this is just a snapshot of our 5-year tax base history, and we've had a slight increase in our tax base. So the excess levy, the proposal is actually about $1.5 million more for this proposed levy as compared to the current levy. And you'll see here, the far right column shows the current levy. It is set for about $21.3 million. The proposed levy is set for about $22.8. So again, that is a difference of about $1.5 million. And in order to determine how we wanted to allocate those funds, Raleigh County Schools convened a large committee. We had at least one representative from every school. Those representatives could have been teachers, administrators, counselors, local school improvement council members, local community members, people at the central office, and so forth. But that large committee came together, divided into 5 subcommittees. And if you have, I think did we pass out that document? Did people get a handout? Okay. So that handout you'll see is broken into 5 color-coded areas: purple, orange, blue, green, and red. So those are the areas I'm going to talk about briefly today. The first one being instructional and student support. So we're going to talk about the purple area first. And on this slide, you'll see before you, it says instructional and student support, and then it says directed from district. So there are certain funds in this category, in the purple category, that are maintained at the district level, and then there are some that are sent to the school level through school allocations. So I want to talk about those and the differences. So the very first item that is directed from the district in terms of spending is free textbooks. The excess levy has $1 million annually that goes towards free textbooks. That is a requirement in the state in terms of we have to provide free textbooks to all students, and the excess levy provides that here in Raleigh County. The second item is technology integration. As many of you likely know, we have a one-to-one personal learning device initiative here in Raleigh County, meaning that all of our students have a personal learning device. In our elementary schools, students have iPads. In our middle and high schools, they have Chromebooks. But those are their devices, and I mean, they belong to the school system, but the students get to use them. And the excess levy provides about $750,000 annually, and I believe it's $758,000 specifically, but that's an annual allotment to support those devices. It supports our networks, servers, everything we do with technology. The excess levy funds a great bit of that. The next item is truancy diversion. As many of you probably know, in business, it's hard to get employees, it's hard to get people to report to work. Well, we have that same problem sometimes with students and getting them to be on time and in school every day. So we do have truancy diversion specialists or officers that work with our secondary schools. We have 3 of them, and they are funded through the excess levy. Universal pre-K support in West Virginia. All school systems have to provide universal pre-K. Any 4-year-old whose parents want them to come to preschool, we have to offer them a spot. Every 3-year-old with an IEP, which is a student with special needs, they have to be offered a spot. So the excess levy does provide $300,000 annually to support the pre-K program. It is far more than $300,000, but it does offer support. Performing arts enrichment, we have about $15,000 in the excess levy to support this. I don't know if any of you attend the annual theater musical performances that Woodrow Wilson High School provides in February and March, but we pay to send the elementary and middle school students to that performance. So this year was Tarzan. We were able to send many students from the school system, but we have to pay for that because Woodrow has to pay the company for that. So we do that. We also bring West Virginia Dance Company to the auditorium in the fall, and again, we fund that through the excess levy. Let's see, academic competition and fairs. Some of you I know have been judges for science fair and social studies fair, but that also includes our spelling bee, math field day, Governor's Honors Academy, any of those fairs or competitions that our students take part in. The excess levy supports that. And then the last item, extended learning opportunities. This piece of it helps to fund summer school. So all of those items there are directed from the district. We keep the funding at the central office and pay for that countywide. This next group of instructional student support, this is directed at the school level. So through school allocations, we send funding to the schools, each school based on their enrollment. They get an allotment per student based on each line. And the schools can then determine what works best for their school. One school might want to purchase a supplemental math program, and another school wants to purchase science resources. But this allows schools to have their own unique approach, if you will, to how they're educating students. So anyway, the first line there is instructional support. That's a pretty open area. The middle and elementary schools receive $42 per student, and then the high schools receive $44 per student. They can choose how to use that funding as they see fit, as long as it's related to instruction. The next item is PE and student wellness. All of our schools receive $3 per student for physical education. The next item, curricular program incentive. You'll see a little information there. This line of the excess levy is specifically to be used for reading, social studies, or the 5 areas of STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. So schools can use the money however they want to, as long as it's benefiting those areas, and all schools receive $12 per student for that line. The next group, the excess levy allows us to fund our music programs, elementary, middle, and high school, and then library and reading. This is a change. The current levy says library supplies. We've added library/reading supplies. If you're very familiar with our schools, you would know we don't have a lot of libraries left, but we still want our students to have access to reading materials. So we've added library/reading. It gives our schools a little more flexibility in how they can use that funding. Okay, the next broad area, I think it's blue, but let me see. No, it's green. Nope, hold on. It's red. Employee benefits, I apologize. So I'm sure you have seen our billboards begging people basically to apply for jobs. We are really struggling as a school system to fill all of our positions, both professional and service. Earlier in the year, we were operating with 92 long-term subs in our teaching positions. So it's been a challenging year for us. But anyway, the employee benefits through the excess levy, we offer, first of all, we offer staffing support. Raleigh County Schools operates with more positions, more teaching positions, more service positions than the state provides funding for. So the excess levy helps to offset the cost of those extra positions. Last year, we operated with about 70 extra service personnel, and you might say 70. That's a lot of extra positions, and it is. We have a blossoming special education population here in Raleigh County, and I mean we are obligated and we want to educate our special education population for sure. But many times our special needs students require the assistance of an aide. So we are having to employ a significant number of aides, and that's increasing that service number for us overall. That's the big impact that we're having. So staffing support, the levy helps to support positions that we have above what the state provides. Substitute support, we have a lot of substitutes working, and the levy helps to support the cost of those substitutes. Fixed costs and group insurance, we do as a school system provide dental and optical insurance to our employees. It's free to our employees. That's provided through the excess levy. And then there is a personal leave incentive. If our employees don't use their days, we'll pay them for those days. So they'll actually, right now, they receive $70 per day. This will go to $85 per day. Again, it's just aimed at keeping employees and encouraging them not to take days off so that we're not stuck without a sub in some situations. So those are our benefits. I left off one thing. In terms of salary support, the state sets a minimum salary that you're to pay teachers or to pay certain classifications of service personnel. Raleigh County does pay more than the state minimum. Through the excess levy, we pay if the excess levy would pass, teachers in Raleigh County would receive $4,600 more than the state minimum each year, and their service personnel would receive $3,800 more each year than the state requires. That again comes through the levy. The next area, which would be green on your paper, is our athletic support and coaching. The excess levy provides funding for our athletic program to about $1 million. I want to say it's $982,000 for the athletic programs, yes. So one thing that we've added to the excess levy this year is that it would be the second item there, coaching incentives for extended season or state and county championships. So right now, if a coach and his team or her team advances through sectional, regional, state tournament play, the coach receives no extra incentive financially for that. So through the excess levy, we've established that. If this levy would pass, then take Coach Olson, they won the state championship for basketball. As he would have, and his team would have advanced through sectional, regional play and then won the state championship, he would have also received a financial incentive, if you will, for winning at each level and then winning the state championship. That applies to all of our schools. Here in Raleigh County, we're fortunate to have elementary athletics with our volleyball and basketball elementary, and then we also have cheerleading. But the coaches who would win at the elementary volleyball or elementary basketball level, they would also receive an incentive for their team winning. So that is something brand new in the proposed excess levy. The other, I will say that the excess levy provides trip support. So for our high schools, Liberty is a AA. It receives $1,250 per sport, and that's to help offset trip support, or the trips that they take throughout the season. Independence High and Shady are both AAA schools, so they would receive $1,500 per sport. And then Woodrow, being a 4A, receives $2,000 per sport. I've learned through the many years in this position, the more A's you have, the farther you have to travel to play your games. So that's the intent of that increase for each of the A's, from Liberty to the two AAA and then on to Woodrow. Our middle schools all receive $750 per sport. And then for student activities, in terms of curricular trip support, all of our schools receive $5 per student to support their curricular field trips. Okay, the fourth area is blue on your paper. So you'll see these areas, student services, maintenance, transportation. That top item, student health services, we have $200,000 built into the excess levy to support our school health program, to support the school nursing program that we have. There is no change with that from the current to the proposed, but it is $200,000. Student security, there is a change of $95,000 in the proposed excess levy. This area of the excess levy supports what we do to ensure student safety and security while present in school. Our school resource officers are funded through the excess levy. We have school resource officers at all of our secondary schools. The in-school suspension program that we operate in our secondary schools, it is also funded through the excess levy. If you don't know what in-school suspension, what that program is, that we use that with the hopes of not having to move to an out-of-school suspension. So we keep kids in school, but they're not in their traditional classrooms, instead of sending them home for 5 or 10 days. So that program is supported through the excess levy, as well as all of our security cameras, and then the training we do to ensure our staff properly restrain and respond to student problems in classrooms. Maintenance, I hope you recognize the work we do with our facilities here in Raleigh County. There is an item in the levy, it's for maintenance, but that's just preventative maintenance, that's routine maintenance, nothing substantial in terms of the big building projects, and that's what the capital improvement line is there at the bottom. We have $1 million annually that we allocate for capital improvement through the excess levy, and I'm going to give you some examples of those in just a moment, but I want to jump back to extended learning opportunities. You'll see there's school repairs under extended learning. In the summer, we have a summer paint crew and we have a summer maintenance crew that work. Most of those people are either bus operators or custodians that they're not employed to work in the summer, but we have summer contracts and they come in and do that extra work for us in the summertime. That's all funded through the excess levy. And then fleet maintenance, the state sends us so much funding every year to replace X number of buses, whatever that might be. Maybe it's 10 buses that the state tells us we should replace this year, and they send us funding for that. Through the excess levy, we fund 1 extra bus replacement. That's the fleet maintenance that you'll see. Now, jumping back to capital improvement, these are our big projects, and I have a few slides here to illustrate what we mean by capital improvement. First one that I have there is Ridgeview Elementary School. I see the former principal here. Good to see Ms. Kelly out there. But Ms. Kelly was the principal who was able to open this beautiful facility. And you'll see that the school wound up being about $16.6 million in cost. Out of our local dollars, we used about 7.6 million, and we were able to get 9 million from the state school building authority. I wanted to share this with you because that $1 million that's in the levy for capital improvements, we can often use that money, we can leverage that money to go to the state and say, you know, we have this much, we'd like for you to give us this much. And that's what we did with Ridgeview, as well as the next school. I went the wrong way again. Shady High, we did this simultaneously. We did Ridgeview and Shady High at the same time. And you can see for Ridgeview, the state gave us just over 9 million. For Shady Spring, they gave us almost 11 million. So what our former superintendent did and the board, they went to the state and said, we have $20 million and we're asking you to give us 20 million. And the state did that. But that capital improvement money that I was talking about, the 1 million per year, as well as other county funds, our treasurer and our board does a great job, or do a great job, of accumulating that, and then we can go ask for money from the state. So here's the Shady High. That project was a little more than 23 million. Locally, we put 12 million with it, and then the SBA gave us just about $11 million for that. Again, leveraging taxpayer dollars that we get through the excess levy to get money from the state. A couple other capital improvements. This year, we opened the new Stratton Elementary School, and this project is still underway. I see Councilwoman Bullock back there clapping. She was instrumental working with us on that project. But you'll see it's in red. We have not fully finished that project. The playground is to begin as soon as weather breaks. But you'll see that right now, that project is about a $22 million project. We put, locally, Raleigh County, we put 13 million in, and the state's given us almost 9 million. Again, leveraging our finances to get money from the state. This is one that's ongoing, Park Middle. I think this is our 3rd year without a gymnasium at Park Middle School. We had some structural issues at Park and had to close the gymnasium. So that, just replacing the gymnasium and doing some interior work in STEM labs cost about $9.5 million. We were able to go to the state and ask, we couldn't get as much money here, but we were able to get $1 million, and then we've had to put the difference with that project. 1 million is better than nothing, but again, able to use resources to get money. Now, this is just kind of a snapshot. Since 2013, these are our major capital improvement projects. You'll see it starts there with the HVAC system renovation at Beckley Stratton. Then it goes all the way down. You'll see a project we're anticipating, hopefully in the very near future, to start the water line replacement at Woodrow Wilson High School. And we are hoping in the near future we'll learn that we received about $2 million from the state to support that. Again, we've put $2 million, and we're hoping that the state is soon going to tell us they'll give us $2 million, and then we would start that project. It's anticipated that we'll start that project this summer. That's our goal. So when you look at this slide, since 2013, capital improvement projects in Raleigh County, we've spent just over $80 million in Raleigh County. Of that, 47 million was local. That's what Raleigh County citizens put into that. And then the school building authority gave us just almost 33 million. So we've paid for about 59 million. The state's given us, 59%. The state's given us 41%. That's a pretty good return on our tax dollars. The last area, and that would be yellow. So this is the last of the 5 areas, is community services. So WVU Extension, we partner with them. Many of our schools partner with them to do various activities. Pop-up markets are a really big event that our schools do, and you can see I think it's in your bottom left maybe, but you'll see Barbie Little with W Extension. That's a pop-up market where students receive free fruits and vegetables to take home. They can choose which vegetables they want. The Youth Museum, they get $15,000 through the excess levy to support their work with our schools. And then the Convention Center here, $75,000 through the excess levy goes to the Convention Center. I know you have a copy of it. If you don't, I have plenty. But this is what you'll see on Election Day, minus this top part. You'll see what's on the screen with a box, 2 boxes for the levies or against the levies. Like I said earlier, I can't ask you or encourage you to vote one way or the other, but please go out and vote on May 14th. I do want to share this. I know that these numbers are really small, but this is a 10-year enrollment comparison. Over the last 10 years, Raleigh County Schools has lost just over 1,800 students, so a little more than 14.5% of our student body. For those of you who deal with dollars and cents, not that I think a student is just worth money, I don't, but this is a financial presentation. Each student, we receive about $4,600 per student. So you can do the math. 1,800 students equates to a good bit of money that we're losing. I know I'm out of time. Because of this lost enrollment, we have really made a concerted effort this year to connect and improve. I'm not going to go through all these for the sake of time, but these are some things we've been doing to connect with our community, connect with our families. And then these are steps we're taking to improve attendance, achievement, and behavior. We really believe the more we improve, the more we offer, the more we connect, we can hopefully get some of those 1,800 students back to the public school system. And then I think I'm out of time, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to take those. All right, well, thank you, and thank you for having me.